How's it going, everyone? It has been Lone Vault Wanderer here with a quick Bethesda discussion that I think is going to be really interesting because I'm genuinely curious as to what Bethesda fans, and more specifically, what Fallout and Elder Scrolls fans would think about this theory. So this has all come from an alleged Bethesda leaker that has leaked a bunch of information about Bethesda's E3 press conference this year on 4chan. Now, if you want to see more information about that alleged leak, I would recommend that you go to Maddie's channel. He did an awesome video about that. I'm not going to really entertain the idea of that leak here because I don't believe it's true. We go into much more detail about that in the podcast, but after the Survivor 2299, I'm just not believing any leak is true, to be honest, unless it's coming from a reputable news site like IGN or GameSpot, whatever it is. I'm just going to lean towards not believing it, especially when it's just a bunch of information posted on a random website and there's nothing really to back it up. But there was one thing that was posted as part of these leaks, and I want to get all of your thoughts about this, that in my opinion was quite interesting, and I think it could land to an interesting discussion about whether fans would actually like to see some sort of interconnected Bethesda universe of their video games. So let me ask all of you the question, then I'll get into my thoughts. Would you, presumably, as either an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout fan, or even fans of both theories, would you like to see Bethesda present to us, through their games coming out, including Starfield, whenever that's released, assuming that BGS is actually the dev that's working on that, would you like to see BGS present to us an interconnected universe with Fallout and Elder Scrolls and Starfield, or somehow loosely connected in those games? Please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So let me show you the paragraph which kind of spurred this discussion idea for me. The alleged leaker, and again I use that word carefully, or loosely, the alleged leaker says the following. They're talking about the game Starfield, mind you. The game is going to be a sci-fi open-world RPG in typical Bethesda first-person fashion, which is really weird because Bethesda also does third-person. They don't just do first-person. But anyways, it's going to feature 5 to 10 races. There's still some debate on what should and shouldn't go in, and takes place in the Fallout universe, just so far in the future and far away from Earth that it'll only be mentioned in hints. This is part of an ongoing planned interconnected universe of every Bethesda franchise. They gave hints of this by implying the Brotherhood of Steel created Nirnroot in Fallout 4. They're getting a little wacky with the lore and using Elder Scrolls time wounds to justify lore inconsistencies. Now, after reading this, I needed to ask myself the question, this maybe sounds cool on paper. Yeah, having all of Bethesda's IPs, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Starfield of course, interconnect in some way, maybe on paper that sounds kind of cool. But I honestly don't think this should ever happen. In the slightest. And also I don't think that the majority of Bethesda or Elder Scrolls fans are going to want this idea either. And here's why I think that that's the case. You look at Fallout 4, you look at Fallout 3, and how much Fallout fans like to complain about lore inconsistencies, especially when Bethesda allegedly forgets about the lore in the past games, whether Fallout 1, Fallout 2, etc. And I'm assuming the exact same goes for Elder Scrolls 2, mind you, but they did actually create that series, so more so in relation to Fallout. Look at how nitpicky Fallout fans and Bethesda fans get about lore inconsistencies in their game. Would they even entertain the idea of an interconnected Fallout and Elder Scrolls universe using Starfield as a platform to do so? I don't think anyone would be happy to see that. Again, maybe it sounds cool on paper, but are you going to try and convince Bethesda fans and hardcore Fallout and Elder Scrolls fans in a logical and rational way that somehow these game franchises are interconnected in some sort of way? It's just not possible. Yeah, when it comes to Marvel and their cinematic universe, it makes sense and people buy it because people like to see the Avenger movies and all their favorite superheroes in one movie, Infinity War, etc., whatever it is. But there's a big difference there because when you look at BGS did not create Fallout, they purchased the IP. They created Elder Scrolls, that's fine. They're going to be creating Starfield, presumably, that's fine. But when you bring Fallout into the mix, that's an IP that they did not create, that was created by a completely different studio, a completely different developer. So how on earth is it at all palatable for anyone to say we're going to try and interconnect these different franchises in some sort of Bethesda game universe, like a Marvel Cinematic Universe? It just does not make any sense at all. And yeah, I'm assuming that you can get really wacky with the lore to try and link it together in some sort of loose fashion. But there would be too many lore inconsistencies that you just cannot deny. I myself am not really a lore fanatic. You know, if I see or hear or view some lore inconsistencies or things that don't make sense, for the most part, I'll pass them up so long as I'm enjoying the content. Whether it's a game, whether it's an anime, whether it's a movie. For instance, Dragon Ball Super has a lot of lore inconsistencies with their past series, Dragon Ball Z, etc. I'm typically happy to pass them up if I'm enjoying everything. But when it's so blatant, like if Bethesda ever tried to come to us and said, yeah, these actually take place in the same universe, and here's why, Brotherhood has still created Nirnroot, etc. I wouldn't be able to take that. I wouldn't be able to cop that. And I don't think any other Bethesda fan or Fallout fan would really be able to. I mean, when you think about the Nirnroot in Fallout 4 and any other reference or Easter egg, whatever it is, to other game franchises, and it's not even just Bethesda franchises, but games have Easter eggs to other game franchises all the time. That's one thing, that's fine. Having Easter eggs and references are typically fun. People like to see references of their favorite games in some of the games that they're playing. For instance, Fallout 4 has a Bioshock reference with two of their characters. There's this little girl and this robot sentry bot that follows her around. I can't remember her name. And I thought that was really cool. When I encountered that in the game, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I love Bioshock, I love Fallout, I love seeing this little Easter egg. But does that mean I want some sort of interconnected universe with Fallout and Bioshock? No! Do I want to see one with Fallout and Elder Scrolls? No, that does not make any sense whatsoever. And I think the backlash from fans would be absolutely massive, especially when you look at how many changes Bethesda made from Fallout 4, from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Do you actually think, or honestly think, that this would go down well with fans? Absolutely not. Bethesda should not even think about this idea. Yeah, give us references. Yeah, give us Easter eggs. Those are fun in small doses. But do not try and create some sort of Marvel Cinematic Universe out of the Bethesda games. It would just not make sense. So anyways, Wastelanders, that's all from me. Please let me know your thoughts about the topic in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.